During my playthrough of Silent Hill 2 Remake, I realized that James is so adorable and I love him so much that I want to take him through Silent Hill again, but make sure that not a single monster harms my boy. That's right, we're going for the no-hit run. If I get hit, I must revert back to my last save or autosave, whichever one my little guy hasn't been harmed in. I call it Operation Protect James Sunderland. Also, I'm getting the dog ending, because I want him to have a dog. The only thing that can compete with my love for James is my love for the color pink. So I made James pink. And in the first cutscene, he started to become self-aware that he looked like a Barbie, which terrified me, so I turned that off immediately, after 3 hours or so. In the first save screen, he also seems to look possessed by Barbie. I also found a chainsaw, which I put away and convinced myself it was gone forever for some reason, and then proceeded to fight this blue thing while it projectile vomited all over the place. And then I failed for the first time. Over and over and over again. Listen, I needed to get my footing. I got damaged a lot the first time I played the remake. Eventually, I found a dog magazine that reads "Meet the cutest, cuddliest good boys around." And then I got the first part of the doggy key that would be needed to open up a door to get the dog ending. Found the jukebox. Speddering getting the jukebox key. And almost failed my James doesn't get hurt challenge. But with that, we got the jukebox fixed. And after that strange memory, I found a key in a jacket that spawned a ton of enemies. And, well, I guess the anxiety of the situation was the most exciting part, but the truth of it is I just walked away. I used the key on the Woodside Apartments and went to finally go in and get my flashlight, which I had a comically hard time finding this scoundrel for. And at this point, well, you know the drill, find the dress that looks like it's wearing a Speedo, and collect the rest of the coins needed for this puzzle, but not before I put James' life in unnecessary danger by using a 2x4 to kill mannequins instead of a freaking pistol because I wanted to use the ammo on a wall. It was for a trophy. And then James met Eddie. And after speedrunning that coin puzzle, I couldn't be bothered with remembering, so I looked up a guide. I made it to the Blue Creek Apartments, which is probably my least favorite part of the game. But hey, at least I got better at dodging. This next part started to feel impossible. Until it came to my attention that the chainsaw from earlier didn't just evaporate into thin air, and I literally had it in my inventory pocket, so I pulled it out and proceeded to use it throughout the entire turn. Let me tell you! It nearly one-shot everything! Mannequin? More like man next time. But seriously, thank God for this chainsaw because it really helped me so much. Then James met Angela again, except I didn't show the first time that I met her while looking like a Pepto-Bismol bottle. So you get no context other than him getting no information about where his wife is.
Her name's Mary. She's my wife.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
I don't know why I think she's here. She
died 3 years ago.
She's dead?
Oh, don't worry, I'm not crazy. At least I don't think so.
And then he made out with himself in the mirror. And then came to the first boss fight with Pyramid Head. I didn't really want to use a chainsaw for him, considering that he's a close-range little guy, so I just kind of pumped 100 bullets into him perfectly while dodging until he got bored and walked away. And afterwards wondered if this drawing was supposed to be James because it has short hair and it looks kind of silly, but you know. Not long after, James met Maria, and she wanted the naughty.
Oh no!
Not long after that, I found the last part of the dog key, and Maria decided to get this video age restricted.
Maria?
What? Oh, come on, don't give me that look.
James also decided to crawl through a random window with broken glass, which technically made me fail the challenge. And all I'm saying is, I can't be bothered to watch this scene again while writing this script because it was disgusting. But I bet you didn't come here to see me vaguely explain the game and leave out Laura from the story for some reason. I bet you came here to see me speedrun puzzles.
What?
And have problems moving a simple object. That's right. We're in the hospital now. And no, it has nothing to do with the 35 diseases James got from that black ink on the doorknob from earlier. Most of the meeting Maria part was just kind of walking past enemies, but this part would have its difficulties. Mainly the mannequins in the basement that kept punching me, which is certainly one of the weirder sentences that I've said. But after lots of attempts, I managed to get James out of there without being so much as violently thought at. Except, I didn't know how safe he really is because while getting the gas out of the generator, his hands were shaking a lot, which I'm pretty sure is one of the death symptoms for when you're dying of deadly death, sometimes leading to passing away, loss of life, reached expiration date, or some may know it simply as FIFA 22 for the PS5. But ignoring that and the strange moan this enemy made after James killed it, Maria Maria got a hangover and decided to lay down, while James looked around, which she would then blame James for later. Even though during this playthrough, I found out that he can check up on her in a very sweet way, which she admits, but that won't stop her from yelling at him.
Anyway!
James continued to make this challenge difficult by accidentally poking himself with a teddy bear somehow, and stopping in the middle of attacking enemies to emote like he's Bubba whenever he feels like it. On a side note, in my first playthrough, the nurses were one of the most difficult enemies to fight because they were so spongy, but the chainsaw nearly one-shots them. I only say nearly because I think one got back up after I hit it. But something else to note, if you want to get through a second playthrough as fast as possible, is that you don't need to do all the puzzles, like the X-ray puzzle, for example. That's just a puzzle to find a code for a key, so instead of wasting your time with that, just look up the code for the key item. Trust me, it saves so much time that you could be using looking at wooden boxes. Like, take this box for example. I know it's not wooden, but if you already know the code for this box, you can almost immediately solve this whole part instead of needing to run around 2 sections trying to find out what the code is. And if you think about the fact that the dog is responsible for all this, he's probably just watching James like, how'd he know that? Unfortunately, you will have to resort to mannequin cruelty to get a key so you can find out what's in the box, though. I will never get bored of his reaction to there being literally nothing in the box. Anyway, we meet back up with Maria, and I saw my second favorite cutscene in this game again.
Oh, God.
What's this? Not very cute, is it? Here, why don't you take it?
Thanks.
Now, I'm sure you're aware of what happens next. Pyramid Head kills Maria, and James escapes, and I do the little Maria is dead dance. Most of this next part was just me walking past enemies and forcing them to take a silly selfie with me against their will because I saw that Maria was able to do that in the background of my saves and I wanted them to do the same. Spoiler alert, they get under so much stress if you try to save with them in the same room, they will literally cease to exist and disappear. However, after all of that, I went down a tunnel and did not imagine a 4-foot man chasing me and reunited with Eddie.
Ain't no big deal. Just put the gun to their head and pow.
Eddie?
Oh, hi, James.
What happened here?
Who was that?
I don't know. He just came at me.
Okay. Attacked you. And you shot him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. He made me do it.
Okay, calm down, Eddie. Any idea why he would do that?
I don't know. He came out of nowhere. Tried sneaking up on me in the dark. I heard footsteps, so I turned back and he was right there.
And you could tell that he wanted to hurt you.
Well, yeah, I mean, the way he looked at me, I just had to do it.
He looked at you? I thought you said he came at you.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I could see it in his eyes.
His eyes.
He kept looking at me, making fun of me. I told him not to, but he didn't listen.
Eddie, you You can't just kill someone because of the way they looked at you.
This next part was more of the usual dodging, and there would be a lot of that considering that there are many of them in the prison. But for that same reason, it would be extra aggravating when James impulsively decides to emote in the middle of combat. And there wasn't really much to say for the prison aside from dodging and repetitive loading of saves, of course. But I did find it necessary to document the labyrinth boss because in the middle of the cutscene where he's talking to Angela, he gets attacked, and this actually counts as damage in-game as well. And just for that, I made sure that this boss fight would be very easy. Making my way through the labyrinth, I almost got my man's hand hurt by putting it in a bathtub full of acid, and watched as Pyramid Head imagined he was touching James' butt. It looks like that though! But, no pun intended, the most challenging part in this labyrinth for, well, this challenge definitely went to this part. Cause while you don't have to kill every enemy in each one of these rooms because they're all on timers, once you exit the room, James will get damaged by drywall. And no, you can't move, because James would rather hold his head. But ultimately, the biggest issue was fighting the little monkeys on the floor while there was a spider on the wall also trying to murder me. Well, that was a sentence I can only say in this one scenario. But it's true, it was rather frustrating. But as I've said before, and it never fails to be true, if you keep going, you will succeed, guaranteed. But quite possibly, the most interesting part of this challenge was fighting Eddie.
It doesn't matter if you're smart, dumb, ugly, pretty. It's all the same once you're dead. And a corpse can't laugh!
Eddie.
What's that? You want to talk down to me some more? Tell me to relax? You're just like the rest of them, James.
No, I don't want...
Shut up! You think I'm stupid. You think I don't see it. But you've been laughing at me all along. Ever since we first met. But you ain't laughing now, are you?
Does anybody care to explain why James looks like he's about to smother Eddie with a non-existent pillow in his hands? The fascinating thing about this fight is that Eddie is best fought long range, but the chainsaw speeds up the process immensely, so I decided to lure him over. But unfortunately, that strategy didn't work every time, so I switched to high contrast.
Come on, man. Don't be shy. I'm coming for you.
Why does he look adorable after murdering? You can't just go, just killed someone. Also, after all that, I sat in a boat for 10 minutes. That was also for a trophy, which finally led James to his final destination, the hotel, where I had a incredibly miniature, little tiny, itty bitty microscopic boss fight. And then I went to the basement, did a couple of puzzles without being able to use any weapons because you must leave them on the upper level. And I don't know if anyone else said this, but if you're trying to do a no-hit run, please take my advice when I say, after you remove that valve and then install it on the second wall, do not back up. Or you'll get hit by that. But after making sure that James didn't get hurt even once, I got the key for the 3rd floor and headed straight to the observation room so I could get his new puppy that may or may not have been responsible for the events of Silent Hill. And right after you ask, yes, it is set to English, but the devs couldn't be bothered making an English version of this cutscene.
Fuck ah shit.
Nie. To nie może być prawda.
Okay, that's it. Let's see what my stats did. Let's see what my damage is. Let's see if I took any damage. No! What could that have? What could have done that? Oh, wait, I remember.
Run!
I don't know why I thought that was funny at the time. Well, I guess the takeaway from this video is to not let the intrusive thoughts win. I mean, the truth of the matter is that the intrusive thoughts only win when you decide not to be strong and given. And if you don't listen, they're just thoughts and have no power. That, and it's also easier to do nothing than something. But here, I decided to do something for a thought that meant nothing. Oh wells, there's a tad bit of wisdom for you. But it wasn't a complete fail because I accidentally speedrun the game and got a trophy for it called Faster Than Funk. And also it was funny, so. But with all that said, I'm gonna leave this video here. I love this remake, it's worth a play and a couple more, and it wasn't too bad for my first no-hit run either. So, yeah, with all that said, there's not much else to say. So take care of yourselves, have a decent day, and stay determined, out of the way.